You've tuned into another edition of The Break Room, a weekly conversation about how the City of St. Augustine works from those who do the work every day. Hosted by the City of St. Augustine's Communications Director, Melissa Whistle, The Break Room offers a closer look at the different city departments and provides updates on current and upcoming projects and events. And now, your host, Melissa Whistle.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in. You're listening to The Break Room. I'm Melissa Whistle, Communications Director for the City of St. Augustine. As a local, or at least as a St. Johns County resident, does it ever occur to you to come downtown and be a tourist in your own backyard? There's so much to do in St. Augustine, but where would you begin if you weren't sure where to start? Well, if you're an out-of-town tourist, you would probably start by parking at the parking garage and then head into the Visitor Information Center. So that's where we are going to start today with the City of St. Augustine's Visitor Services Supervisor, Jessica Joyce. Jessica, it's been a while since you've joined us. Welcome back to The Break Room.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So I think most people think of the VIC, or the Visitor Information Center, as just that. It's for visitors. And while that may be generally true, we sometimes can be tourists. And coming into the Visitor Information Center, though, it's really an experience, and it's more than just your folks handing out brochures.
Absolutely. The mission of the Visitor Center is to engage with the guest on an individual level based on how long the visitor is going to stay in town, or if it's a day, if it's a week, what their interests are, even down to what kind of food that they like. All of the information hosts are licensed tour guides with the City of St. Augustine, so they are very knowledgeable of not just attractions. They can help with history. A lot of guests return and say that there's a lot more that they'd like to see, and they would like to come back next year to visit us again. And they even ask us can I email you, getting closer, give us some websites so we could start planning our trip ahead of time. And then they usually stop in and say, do you remember me from last year? So it's really personalized for the visitor, not just out of town. A lot of people take staycations and they want to come in and what's new, what haven't I experienced? So it's really open to everybody, and we've been seeing a lot of visitors from everywhere, locals also.
And even if I've been to the fort or I've been on a tour that I've seen it once before, there may be something new that a venue is offering. And so where would I start? I've always thought that there's a number of not just our trolleys and our trains, but there's a lot of sightseeing options to get that big picture.
Yes, so we have a ton of brochures to give out based on exactly what the need is of the visitor. So we narrow it down based on what the information the visitor gives the information host, and we find the right fit for them based on that.
Do you see that you get, do you see a lot of the same returning groups too, like schools,
oh, yes,
regions in particular?
School groups have started back up again, and it's really great, but there's usually the same guides. And a lot of the groups that have returned have been here, different grades. So
they know
the next generation.
They know
kids.
what to come back for. Oh, that's kind of fun. Do you see kids? Now, have you ever had an experience where you see a group like that? You go, gosh, I think they've been coming here for 3 years, and now they're seventh graders instead of fourth graders.
Yeah. And they remember our gift shop. The kids really like.
You get some cool stuff in the gift shop. Let's talk about the gift shop.
Okay.
It's not just, as I would call it, tourist tchotchke. There's some really cool stuff in there.
Yeah, there's something for everybody. We have a lot of local artists that create things and that we sell in the gift shop, from calendars to you name it.
We've got, I think there's
birthday cards.
daddle pepper sauce.
Yes, daddle pepper sauce. Everybody's favorite.
And again, being a local, it's the holidays. I want to do some shopping. I could come down to the gift shop.
Local authors. We have a beautiful book room, and local authors from all over St. Augustine, and we carry their books. Just hand-painted shell ornaments locally. So there's a lot and a little bit for everybody.
Very cool stuff. And do I get a discount?
As a St. Johns County resident, you get a discount of 10% for the month of December.
And another month that's good to come down. I know some people are probably listening going, there is no way you're going to get me down there during Nights of Lights. But if I come down during the week?
During the week, it's a lot slower than the weekend. But it's a perfect time for, locals to come out and enjoy.
Bring your family.
If they don't want to do the weekend, although the weekends have been really still manageable. Yeah.
But another month that's good. Do we have a program in September?
Well, September is usually called the easy time.
Okay.
A lot of attractions will announce that they're offering St. Johns County residents discounted rates or free admission. So the best time to find out what's being offered is come into the visitor center in September and get a list.
Check it out.
Yeah.
And we have a website, citysanog.com. We have just general information about the VIC, but I know that the
The VCB.
The VCB site is Florida's historiccoast.com. And there's any number of other websites out there that you can just Google things to do in St. Augustine.
Yeah, and if anybody emails the front desk at vic@citysanog.com, they can offer all the websites that are just full of information, including, the VCB's website.
So there's staff that are monitoring that email account.
Yes.
So I can email vic@citysanog.com and get information. And how you were mentioning before that even on the weekends right now, Nights of Lights, what's it like down there now? Is it like booming crazy, or people really just glad to be back out?
Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy to be out and enjoying life at a normal rate. Everybody's respectful of each other. So it's a great time to come out and just enjoy the holidays.
I know having so many people, I do still see people wearing masks. I see people not wearing masks, but I know you and I were talking offline, and like you just said, everyone's really in a good Christmas spirit. It's positive. There's not a lot of angst. People seem to be comfortable and respectful of what needs to be done. We currently don't have any restrictions specifically.
And people are just enjoying the fact that and it's Florida, so the weather's usually beautiful.
Right, and better than most places where folks are coming from.
There's a lot of stuff to do outside. So
right, and you can stay outside, be outside, a lot of outdoor eating, a lot of outdoor venues, things to see.
Right.
If you're just now tuning in, you're listening to The Break Room. I'm Melissa Whistle, Communications Director for the City of St. Augustine, and today we're talking with Jessica Joyce. She is the Visitor Services Supervisor at the Visitor Information Center. Jessica, we also have at the VIC, you don't just walk in and it's a bunch of shelves of brochures, as we have mentioned. There's a huge exhibit down there.
Yeah, we have a large archaeological exhibit. You can find artifacts from 1565 to 1821 throughout the exhibit. There's a 2-scale model of Menendez flagship, the San Peleo. The kids love that. We also have a 1/3 ship replica of the Spanish Carvel. It's a really large ship. So it's awesome for just families in a whole and history lovers.
Yeah.
And it's cool stuff that is found right here by one of our previous archaeologists.
And it's really quite like you said, it's really a historical exhibit. So if you're really just trying to get that basic history of St. Augustine, how we have this friendly competition with Pensacola of who's the longest standing or who is the nation's oldest city. And I think the defining piece that we like to pride ourselves on that makes us different from Pensacola is that we are the longest established settlement from the day that we were discovered historically.
And there's just so much to explore throughout the exhibit. So I don't want to tell any more about it because you have to come into the visitor center to see it.
To come in and see it. I love it. Just before we wrap up, talking about, again, Nights of Lights, there's lots of activity going on. We do want to remind folks, we do have the shuttles. The parking shuttles are being offered at San Marco, north of the city at the Health Department, as well as the Browdy's parking lot off of US 1. And those drop off right there.
On the north side of the parking garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I can try to park, but if you're coming in and you think it's going to be a busy night, just go to those satellite parking locations.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything to do that and utilize the services. And you can get more information at the visitor center on the schedule or the website for the city's website. But there's a lot going on. The trains and the trolleys are doing their Nights of Lights tours. Okay. So that's something that locals would should definitely enjoy, especially if they don't want to deal with driving in with traffic, they can ride in on a shuttle.
Ride in on the shuttle, catch those trains or trolleys. There's lots and lots of things. So if you can get yourself down to the VIC, down the Visitor Information Center, go inside, look for our hosts. They are trained. Mm-hmm. They know more than just how to hand out a brochure.
Yes.
I love that you say that there's this true mission. I think sometimes when I think of a Visitor Information Center, I figure it's somebody standing behind the counter. I could do that job, but really not. They really do need to be informed.
And we have an official city map. So if you want to, they've got their pens ready and they'll show you exactly if you want to walk around town or get on one of the franchise trains or trolleys. But they know more about St. Augustine than I think anybody I've ever met. They really love their jobs. So that's why they take so much time with each visitor to tailor their day for them.
And I love that you say people come back in and say, we're back. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to see it all.
Yeah, and they look for the same person. And if they're off that day, they were like, well, we're coming back on their next day.
That's great. That's wonderful. Okay, one last quick thing. Do we have someone in the Visitor Information Center that resembles someone that's coming in December to deliver gifts?
Yes, we have our very own, we call him Santa's brother.
Okay.
He grows his beard every year, and he wears a velvet red vest.
Wonderful.
His name is Eric, but he is Santa's brother on the South Pole end.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you've got kids, bring your kids in. And we don't know what day he's working, though.
No, you just pop in.
All right, and look for Eric. Yes. Look for Santa's brother, Eric.
You can't miss the beard.
All right, and come down and check out the gift shop because there's lots of really cool stuff. Show your residents, prove you're a resident of St. Johns County and get 10% off in December. And then, of course, don't forget to come back in September in particular and enjoy a bunch of those local discounts that you get from our local shops and attractions. As we wrap up another edition of The Break Room, I hope we answered your questions. We want to keep you informed about what's happening in and around the city, and most importantly, that you hear it here from the people doing the work and making it happen every day. Remember that in order to stay connected, you need to be connected. Be sure that you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City St. Aug. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.
You've been listening to The Break Room, a weekly program addressing projects and programs offered by the City of St. Augustine. Join us each week as the city's communications director, Melissa Whistle, has in-depth conversations with the people who make our town work to meet the needs of our community. The Break Room is produced by communications specialist for the City of St. Augustine, Cindy Walker. See you at this time next week for another edition of The Break Room.